My sister didn't even bother lowering her voice. We were standing in the hallway outside her apartment, coats half on, keys in her hand, when I showed her the invite on my phone. Gold lettering. Formal date. My name spelled correctly for once. She glanced at it for less than 2 seconds before rolling her eyes. "We don't have time for stupid awards," she said, already turning away. "You always make things bigger than they are." She laughed lightly, like she'd just delivered a helpful truth. I stood there holding the phone, feeling that familiar mix of heat and hollowness settle in my chest. This wasn't new. This was the role I'd always played in our family, the one whose achievements were treated like hobbies, whose milestones were called distractions. I forced a smile and nodded like it didn't matter. "Yeah," I said. "You're probably right." She relaxed immediately. That's how it always went. The moment I agreed to be small, everyone felt comfortable again. On the drive home, I replayed her words over and over. Stupid awards. The phrase stuck because it wasn't just about the ceremony. It was about me. About how every time I stepped slightly out of the box they'd put me in, someone pushed me right back. At home, I placed the invite on the table and stared at it longer than I should have. It represented years of work, late nights, quiet sacrifices, choosing the harder option when no one was watching. I didn't expect applause from my family, but I hadn't expected outright dismissal either. Still, I didn't argue. I didn't text back. I didn't defend myself in the family group chat when my sister joked that I was busy chasing imaginary trophies. I stayed silent. Silence had always been safer. The day of the ceremony arrived quickly. I dressed carefully, not extravagantly, just clean and confident. As I locked my door, my phone buzzed. A message from my sister. "We're grabbing dinner tonight. Don't wait up." No mention of the ceremony. No good luck. I typed "have fun" and put my phone away. The venue was larger than I expected. Bright lights, cameras, people moving with purpose. When I checked in, the coordinator smiled warmly and handed me a badge with my name and title beneath it. Seeing it printed like that felt unreal, like proof I hadn't imagined any of this. I took my seat among people who looked nothing like me but somehow felt more familiar than my own family ever had in moments like this. As the program began, I kept my phone face down. I told myself not to look at it, not to hope. The host announced categories, achievements, stories of people who had quietly changed things without needing permission. With every name called, my heart beat faster. When my category came up, time seemed to slow. The host read a brief summary of the work, my work. And for the first time, I heard it described without sarcasm, without minimization. The applause was real. It filled the room. When my name was called, I stood up on instinct, legs shaking just slightly, and walked toward the stage. The lights were blinding. The applause grew louder. I accepted the award with steady hands and said thank you without oversharing, without explaining myself. I didn't mention my family. I didn't need to. That night didn't end there. After the ceremony, there was a reception. Conversations flowed easily. People asked questions that assumed competence, not doubt. At some point, my phone buzzed again. This time, I looked. A missed call from my sister. Then another. Then a message, "Call me when you can." I didn't respond. Not yet. I was learning something important in real time. My story sounded very different when I wasn't letting someone else narrate it. I slipped the award into its case, thanked a few people, and stepped outside into the cool night air. I felt calm. Centered. Whatever was coming next, I knew one thing for sure, tonight had already changed something. They just didn't know it yet. I didn't call my sister back that night. I went home, placed the award carefully on the shelf where I could see it without needing to explain it to anyone, and let myself sleep for the first time in weeks without replaying old conversations. In the morning, my phone was full. Missed calls from my sister. A short message from my mother. Your sister said something happened last night. Are you okay? I replied with a single word, yes. Then I went to work. By noon, the story had started to travel. Not the dramatic version, no exaggeration, no bragging, just facts. A post from the organization tagged the winners. A photo from the stage. My name spelled correctly again, next to people whose work I'd quietly admired for years. I didn't share it. I didn't need to. The people who mattered saw it anyway. That afternoon, my sister showed up at my place unannounced. She didn't knock the way she used to. Softer now. Careful. When I opened the door, she searched my face like she was trying to decide which version of me she was allowed to speak to. Why didn't you tell us? She asked, skipping hello. I did, I said calmly. You called it stupid. She flinched. I didn't mean. I know, I replied. You didn't mean to listen. She stepped inside, eyes drifting toward the shelf. She saw the award immediately. Her confidence cracked, just a little. Is that? Yes. For a moment, she looked genuinely lost. I thought it was just one of those things, she said quietly. You know, participation stuff. I smiled, not cruelly, not kindly. Just honestly. That's the version that made you comfortable. She sat down heavily. Mom's upset, she added. She feels like you hid this from us. I stopped correcting you, I said. That's not the same thing. The silence stretched. For once, she didn't fill it with jokes. People are asking questions, she admitted. Relatives. Friends. They saw the posts. I nodded. That happens. She looked up sharply. You're not even mad. No, I said. I'm done explaining. That evening, the family group chat came alive in a way it never had for me. Congratulations. Clapping emojis. Someone asked why they hadn't known. Another joked about celebrating soon. My sister typed and deleted several messages before sending one that said, proud of you. I didn't reply. Not because it wasn't nice, but because it was late. Later that night, my mother called. Her tone was different this time. Softer. Uncertain. Why didn't you invite us? She asked. I did, I replied gently. I showed the invite. She sighed. We didn't realize it was that important. That's what I realized, I said. She was quiet for a long time. So what now? I looked at the award, catching the light from the lamp. Now, I said, we stop pretending. When we hung up, I felt something shift again, not loudly, not dramatically, but permanently. The way people spoke to me changed. The way they asked questions changed. They were careful now. Curious. Unsure. The balance had moved, and everyone could feel it. But the real moment hadn't happened yet. That night would come soon. The one my sister would remember every time she spoke before thinking. The one that would make her understand exactly what she'd dismissed. And when it arrived, I wouldn't need to say a word. The night came sooner than I expected. It wasn't announced. It didn't arrive with drama. It slipped in quietly, the way consequences usually do. A week after the ceremony, my sister texted to say there was a small family dinner planned, nothing formal, just close relatives. She added, you should come. No emojis. No jokes. I replied okay and left it at that. When I arrived, the atmosphere was different. Polite in a way that felt rehearsed. Conversations paused when I entered, then restarted too quickly. My sister hugged me a little too tightly. My mother fussed over the table settings. My father asked about traffic like it was suddenly important. I noticed how often their eyes drifted to the award when I set it gently on the sideboard, not displayed, just present. Dinner progressed cautiously. People asked questions they'd never bothered with before, about my work, my team, the impact. Not curious in the old way, where curiosity meant comparison, but careful, like they were walking across a surface they weren't sure would hold. My sister listened more than she spoke. That alone told me something had changed. Dessert was served. Coffee poured. And then my aunt, who had always been blunt, cleared her throat. "So," she said, glancing at my sister, "I heard that award came with more than a plaque." The room stilled. My sister's fork paused mid-air. I didn't look at her. I didn't need to. "It recognizes leadership," I said calmly. "And responsibility." My sister swallowed. "People at my office mentioned it," she added, too quickly. "They asked if we were related." "And?" my mother asked. My sister hesitated. That was the moment. The one she'd been avoiding all week. "I told them yes," she said quietly. "I told them I was proud." No one spoke. I met her eyes then, not to confront, not to punish. Just to acknowledge the truth as it finally landed. "Thank you," I said. She nodded, relief and regret mixing on her face. "I shouldn't have said what I said," she added. "About the awards. About you." I waited a beat. "I know." My mother exhaled slowly, like she'd been holding her breath for years. "We should have paid attention sooner," she said. "Maybe," I replied. "But this isn't about timing. It's about respect." The word sat between us, heavy but honest. Later, as people stood to leave, my sister walked me to the door. "I really didn't think it mattered," she admitted. "It did," I said. "Just not in the way you imagined." She nodded. "That night, it changed how people see you." I smiled softly. "It changed how you see me." Outside, the air was cool and clear. I walked to my car without looking back. The award didn't feel like a trophy anymore. It felt like a marker, a line crossed, a story corrected. They had dismissed the invite. They had called it stupid. And in doing so, they had revealed exactly how little they understood. That night didn't make me important. It made the truth unavoidable. And once that happens, no one gets to decide your worth for you again.